The effects of a successful PR campaign are limitless. This video is designed to help you learn some of the basic steps of producing PR campaigns.
And if used, these steps will help your campaign be successful.
To help illustrate, we'll use an award-winning campaign for the Florida Department of Citrus.
The campaign, won by 4 students from Brigham Young University, was based on the Strategic Program Planning Matrix, developed by the faculty of BYU and written in the book Strategic Program Planning for Effective Public Relations Campaigns by Dr. Lori Wilson.
A successful campaign requires 4 steps, which we will discuss in detail. The program matrix. These 4 steps are research, planning, implementation, evaluation.
We'll also compare a successful campaign to a successful football team. So if you're ready, let's play ball. Ugh! In football, coaches gather the background information necessary to solve the problems they need to overcome to win the game. Now, for example, before each game, a coach researches the other team's favorite plays and the best players. Go! The coach also researches his own team to know who his best players are and to know which plays will be most effective against the opponent. They also need to know about the environment. Will it be a grass field or AstroTurf? A night game or a day game? They need to research the place. Is it a higher elevation than normal? Knowing the people is important as well because there really is such a thing as the home field advantage. Yes! This information helps them identify the problem, the key people involved, and the resources needed to win the game.
As in football, research is important to public relations. An effective campaign begins and ends with accurate and complete research.
Probably the major reason why you do research is so that you can identify what your needs are going to be and what direction you're going to be headed in. And so if you don't do research, you'll have no idea what you're going to do. You might as well just, come in and sit in your office and do nothing during the course of the day. So that's probably the primary factor that you have to consider in anything that you do is why are we going to do it? And the research tells you that.
Just like a football coach, the Citrus campaign team members realized they needed to know about the environment.
We need to know about the environment.
They realized research was needed to determine what other students' attitudes were of Florida citrus orange juice and their awareness of the benefits of drinking more orange juice.
Without this information, there would be no way of knowing how to approach their audiences, what messages to use, or even if there was a need for a campaign.
Hello? One of the research vehicles most effective for the campaign was a questionnaire. The results of this questionnaire indicated how much orange juice students drank, where they purchased their orange juice, and what the students perceived as health benefits from drinking orange juice. What are the benefits of drinking 100% pure Florida orange juice?
Oh, the benefits are great. You receive 10,000 vitamins, nutritious, great things.
Is that an actual figure?
It's not an actual figure, but I figure that to be true.
Pure Florida orange juice, huh? I imagine the vitamin C content is very high, which, from what I've learned, allows you to be a healthier person.
It's better for your body, obviously, than soda.
Loaded with nutrients. It's healthy.
They give you increased energy, and they help you sleep good at night.
You stay awake in the mornings.
I like to drink it any time of the day.
I do not know.
Vitamin C, I guess.
Good vitamin C?
Yes.
It's yummy, delicious, and the pulp just stays in my teeth all day long, and I love it to death.
Florida orange juice is good for you, I guess. I don't know.
Just tastes good.
Tastes good. Tastes good?
Tastes good.
All right, thanks a lot. From research, they formulated a situation analysis that gives a snapshot view of all the variables the campaign would face. Whew! I am in the wrong profession This is good. This is very, very good. With the situation analysis plainly stated, the central core of difficulty was defined. Their research served as the foundation for the winning campaign! Thank you!
Well, research is important for a number of reasons, but number one is being prepared. Clients oftentimes expect us to come to them with information about the industry or about the public relations plan that we're proposing, and they want to know that we have our facts and information, and it helps for the planning stage. It helps prepare you to formulate a plan that's going to work, that's going to succeed. We're not going to be prepared if we haven't done our research about the client, about their competition, about their segment in the industry. I mean, specifically, we work in the high-tech area, so we want to know a little bit about their technology. And to get that research, that makes us completely prepared to present a plan and then also execute a plan on their behalf.
Research can be split into two categories, primary and secondary research. New research conducted specifically for the campaign is called primary research. It includes such things as focus groups, surveys, and interviews. Secondary research is research that has already been done for similar purposes by another source. It includes databases, periodicals, and syndicated reports.
Dr. Wilson provides a research checklist of things that should be researched to help gather necessary information for the campaign. Specifically, the checklist helps you identify
the industry, the company, the product or service, sales history, share of market, the market, distribution, pricing policies, competition, promotion.
Every winning coach and every winning practitioner will agree that research is an essential part of a winning campaign. Once you've gathered all the background information and have identified the real problem, you're ready to plan your campaign. Strategic planning is essential to an effective campaign.
The first step in planning is to set the goals you want your campaign to accomplish.
The goal in a football game is to win! Yeah! Supporting that goal would be an objective, like scoring touchdowns. That objective would also be supported by strategies or plays. And the strategies would be implemented by tactics like players running routes or making blocks. In a public relations campaign, you also want to win or to solve the problem. Unlike football, however, measuring a successful campaign can be difficult because varying degrees of success are possible. So it's important for a campaign to have well-defined goals.
When you're thinking about doing a campaign, I think, and after you've finished your research, you want to set your goals right up front. A lot of PR people want to go straight to the tactics because the tactics are so fun. They can think about, oh, wouldn't it be cool to take this to a school, or wouldn't my neighborhood get a kick out of me doing this, see me on TV doing this little spot. And the goals help you make sure that your tactics will be effective.
Goals are usually long-term and define the general effect you want out of a campaign.
To help you meet the main goals, however, several objectives must be set. Objectives are more specific than the goals.
The goal for the citrus campaign was to get more students to drink more Florida orange juice more often, and to increase recognition of the Florida Citrus Sunshine Tree logo. The entire campaign was centered around this goal. If any questions about strategies and tactics arose, the team looked back to the campaign goal. If the tactic in question supported the goal, it was used. If it didn't, it was dropped. The direct supporter of a goal is an objective. Let's return to the football analogy.
In pre-game interviews, coaches often tell reporters what the team needs to do to win the game.
Common responses from coaches include,
we need to keep the turnovers down, execute the offense effectively, and play a tough defense.
Each of these game objectives is calculated to help the team reach its goal of winning.
Now, when the game is over, coaches rarely say that they lost simply because they scored fewer points than the other team. Instead, they refer to their team's inability to meet the objectives that were set before the game started.
We were unable to meet the objectives that were set before the game started.
So many people misunderstand what objectives are. Objectives are not some elusive goal. They're not something, oh, if we do everything right, this is what we hope happens. No, they're very specific. They're measurable, they're time-bound, they're achievable. So what you do after you set your goal of what you're trying to accomplish is you look at those goals, take a really hard look at those goals, and you say, where can I make progress and how much progress can I make? And then you articulate that. You say, by March 13th, today, I will have completed 80% of this project. Then I will know I am successful. If you articulate your goals in a meaningful way, meaning they're measurable, time-bound, very specific, then when it comes time to evaluate your progress, evaluate the success of your campaign, it's easy for you to do because you either accomplished those objectives or you didn't.
One of the objectives in the citrus campaign was to increase the consumption of 100% pure Florida orange juice within 5 weeks by BYU students. This objective was a good one because it meets the criteria specific, measurable, attainable, and time-bound. Specific. Measurable. Attainable. And time-bound. After objectives are set, key publics and target messages must be determined. Now, all objectives will, in one way or another, affect how people who are affected by your campaign decide to act. Therefore, it's important to make sure that you focus on your key public or the people whom your campaign will work around. Action will result when your key messages are received and understood by your public. Huh? Oh, that looks so good. The next step in the planning process is to develop strategies. Strategies are general approaches that can be used to reach each public. Now, football teams have general strategies such as running or passing the ball. And then in addition to these strategies,
they must work out specific details or tactics that will help them achieve their objectives.
Because the Florida Citrus team chose to reach their fellow students at Brigham Young University, their strategy was to reach large groups of students in an upbeat, exciting, interesting way. Now, some of the tactics included sponsoring a dance at a local club, an activity at a local skating rink, stop, and distributing free orange juice from a booth at the end of a 5K run. Good job, man. Wish it was me out there. As another example, let's go back to the football field.
A football play is a good example. For instance, in this play, the strategy is to run the ball, but the specific play is the tactic.
Developing tactics is exciting. But a word of caution, tactics should never dictate how a campaign is run. Welcome to our humble home. Why, thank you. I like this home. It's very nice. Tactics shouldn't be used just because they're exciting or because they attract a lot of attention. Now I'm going to chase you around the house. Tactics should be used to spread specific messages. They should fulfill specific purposes. In short, your whole plan should run smoothly from beginning to end.
So we spend a little bit more time up front on the key message formulation to make sure that we've got consistency with the messages, and that we've got full endorsement. We've got support across the different people that are going to be communicating. You know, the spokespeople are all supportive of the key messages. But I found that your strategies and your tactics and your results and everything will fall out better if you start up front with a better planning of key messages and make sure that they really work.
Although a lot of plays look good during planning on paper, it is in of these plays where teams are really tested.
Teams can make mistakes during the play. Sometimes the mistake can be costly.
To help reduce your team's chances of making a mistake, a special tool is available. This tool is a communications confirmation table. The table gives you a chance to list all of the elements of your plan side by side to make sure they flow in a logical order.
So you start with your goals right up front, and then you move through the campaign, making sure you know your audiences, making sure your messages are clear, that they tie back to your goals, making sure that your tactics are all tied to what you're trying to accomplish. You'll be sad because some of the tactics you really love are tactics that won't work to meet your goals. You need to leave those tactics for another campaign.
During your campaign, new discoveries and changing circumstances can call for a quick change in plans. In football, the offense knows what plan it will run when it lines up, but sometimes the quarterback realizes that another play would be more effective. If he calls out a new play, every player must be prepared to execute the new plan if the play is going to be successful. Public relations professionals also need to be prepared for change.
Well, flexibility is critical. I don't think that you'd ever talk to a public relations professional that wouldn't say flexibility is probably number one.
Yeah, you're going to find things that don't work, and you start again. You recognize that not everything you do will be successful, and not everything that you do will achieve all of the goals that you had initially. And I think you learn from it. You say, gee, this is what we did right, this is what we did wrong, this is how we're going to modify it. You go back to these issues that we've talked about earlier, as flexibility and planning. Are we achieving our goals? Have we, how do we fine-tune it and modify it a little bit? And you start again. You go back to the drawing board and go at it again. Try it from a different way.
On the other hand, successful tactics should be used more often. When implementing the Florida Citrus campaign, the team members decided to hold a tasting booth outside of the campus library. The booth turned out to be such a success. The team incorporated the tactic into their plan more frequently. Now, by changing their original plan, the members of the Florida Citrus campaign gained a lot more visibility than their original plan would have given them. Sometimes a campaign is successful because the PR practitioners use the successes and failures of other campaigns to better predict if their own campaign will be a success.
We find it useful to look at everything from what's going on with the White House communication strategies all the way down to a local hospital that's having a crisis or is implementing some sort of a public relations plan, or to the local sports team. What's up with the latest NBA action. We find it very useful to look at this wide variety of both successful and not so successful public relations plans and programs that are being implemented across the country, and sitting down and analyzing how those mapped, how they worked, how did their execution play out. And we find it gives us a fairly good knowledge base, believe it or not, to see whether or not what we have down on paper will kind of map to our execution or our implementation.
Another important element when you are implementing a successful campaign is commitment and teamwork.
So that we all have different roles, we all have different things that we have to bring to that. The ultimate goal is to achieve what we've set out to achieve, and the only way that you accomplish it is working as a team. Once somebody says, well, this is my project and nobody else is involved with it, you're headed for disaster.
Every football team is evaluated by its current performance.
Coaches will also look at past performances to see if the team is improving. By continually evaluating the team, the coaches know which skills the players need to develop.
A public relations practitioner benefits from evaluation in a couple of ways.
Evaluation is one of the most overlooked parts of a PR campaign. Everyone is so glad to be through the implementation, through the sleepless nights trying to get everything done, and the money has run out, that it's really difficult to get the energy up to do the evaluation. But you can't learn from your experience unless you do an evaluation. No company, no organization wants to throw money down a black hole, pardon the cliche, but that's really how it's seen. PR is often seen as a black hole. But if you have your evaluation information handy, if you can say these were our objectives and this is how these objectives are strategic to the company and this is how we accomplish those objectives, then you begin to be seen as part of a strategic function in the organization. The upper management, the senior management begins to understand that what you do is critical to the success of the organization. Then they're reluctant to cut your budget. They're reluctant to cut your staff. They want you to succeed, to help them succeed in the marketplace.
If you don't evaluate, you'll never know what you did wrong, okay? And if you don't evaluate, you'll never know what you did right. I think too often we look at evaluation as being able to look back and say, okay, well, what did we do wrong and how can we fix it next time? But I think we also have to evaluate from the standpoint of what did we succeed at and why did that work? It's okay to give yourself a pat on the back too.
The evaluation of a campaign includes two parts. The first part is the evaluation criteria, and the second is the evaluation tools.
Evaluation criteria identifies specific criteria to measure success. For example, let's say you had an objective to increase awareness of a product by 25 points. You can measure awareness before and after the campaign. If awareness among the targeted public increased 25 points, then the objective was met. Good evaluation criteria specifically measures campaign objectives. The second step of evaluation is the evaluation tools. The evaluation tools must be designed to measure the criteria. Now, the number of tools you need to measure the criteria depends on how your tools are developed. One example of an evaluation tool is a survey. A survey can measure several criteria. To use a survey as a tool, a survey would be done at the beginning of a campaign to measure awareness. During or after the campaign, a second survey is sent out to measure awareness. The second survey is the evaluation tool. The Citrus campaign used a pre-campaign and a post-campaign questionnaire to determine how successful their efforts had been.
The most significant strides that the campaign made was to increase the recognition of the Florida Sunshine Tree logo from 42% to 65% in a 5-week period.
Evaluation may lead practitioners to the bleakness of defeat, but it also reminds them of the elation of winning.
Remember the 4 fundamental steps to a successful public relations campaign. Research, to understand the current situation.
Plan out the campaign, forming goals and objectives, and create strategies and tactics.
Implement your plan. And evaluate by measuring how many objectives were accomplished. There is one more thing to add to your campaign to make it a success. Ethics. As in football, your work is seen by many people. The referee may not call a bad play, but you could lose the respect of your fans.
When all is said and done, the success of a PR campaign and the success of a PR professional depends on their energy, on their enthusiasm, on their passion for what they do. So if I could only have 3 words to give to the upcoming PR professionals, what I would say is go get 'em.